themselves the greens and the fruit and the healthy foods. You're the breadwinner and you're the one who brings on the food. So whatever it is that you put on their plate is because you've decided to put it on their plate.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about meal preparations, as well as a routine?
Yeah.
Do you think it would work for parents with kids?
Most definitely, because when you meal prep, then you are set for success. When you don't, you're set for failure. You'll reach for the fastest
quick
thing.
Fix.
Yes, and the quick fix never works, you know, in most instances. So what you need to do is make sure that you actually have, you can allocate your weekends as your meal prep time or day. So you decide that towards the half of your Sunday, maybe towards the end of, you know, because you're approaching Monday and kids are going to be going to school, this is your time for you to prepare. You can actually prepare overnight oats, whereby you take your oats, you soak them in milk, you can soak them in yogurt, you can actually put fruit in there, you can actually put the nuts and seeds, and you leave them in the fridge. And when you wake up in the morning, it actually tastes really, really good. You'll add your dates there, you'll add honey.
I think I'm going to try that.
You should.
I'm going to try that tonight.
It tastes so good, and it's one of the best ways actually to get yourself off of sugar, especially if you feel like you crave sugar all the time. The moment you start actually eating natural sources of sugar in the right amounts, accompanied by, you know, healthy source of protein and healthy source of carb, you find that it actually is going to get rid of the cravings for sugar.
Right.
So taking that time towards the end of your Sunday in preparation for the week, you can actually allocate that time in meal prep. That way, when you wake up in the morning, it's just a matter of, you know, giving it to the child and also packing it for them for school. But then, you know, of course, you're setting them up for a healthier life.
Okay, and you see, for a lot of parents, so healthy living is something that is coming up.
Yeah.
But again, we know that most people know that there's a danger of a million children being obese. Then it means that most people don't live a healthy life, or don't help their kids lead a healthy life. Then so if your child has packed very even healthy snacks to school, then when they go to school, they see someone else's lunchbox.
I know.
And it has cookies. I know. And it has biscuits. So then there's that challenge.
I know.
How they can be integrated into the usual society.
Wow. This is something that teachers now need to actually come and try and fix, because I know of a certain school that actually does not allow children to carry foods that are high in sugar and foods that are high in trans fats, because they know it's unhealthy for them, and they also know it's these teachers that spend the day with the kids. So when they get to have that sugar rush, they're the ones who have the headache to actually deal with these children. So they're like, nope, if you're bringing your child, squeeze the juice and, you know, add the dates and the honey and, you know, bring it. But then if it's something that is processed, we take it and your child is not going to be able to use it. I know of a school that actually does that in Mombasa. So parents actually have, I mean teachers actually have a very important role to play here, because they can actually decide and say children are not allowed to bring certain types of foods, especially if we know that there's a rising, you know, there are rising cases of obesity and children being overweight. And also they can add even more physical activity in school, because now we're seeing the fact that, you know, children are more likely to lean towards gaming and watching TV, and while they're doing that, they're usually snacking. And guess what? Even as they're gaming and watching these videos on YouTube, what's being advertised to them? It's usually snacks. These advertisers know exactly when to target the children. So you actually need to take your time and make sure that you go ahead of them, you know. So make sure that you meal prep, make sure that you provide your child with the right type of foods, and don't, you know, make these unhealthy foods available to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for this product, then healthy living is deemed as an expensive lifestyle.
I know.
So are these products expensive?
No, they're not. And I'll say this for a fact, even for us at Wellness KE, that was the most important thing. As I was mentioning to you, I started the platform because I was unwell for many years. So I had fibroids, and I also ended up having deep vein thrombosis. So the condition in itself was quite scary. And during that time, I didn't get the right information or the right products that were going to be able to support my health. And so for that reason, because I suffered for a very long time, I decided to start a platform that would be able to help people so that when they need to actually start their healthy journey, these products will be accessible to them.
Right.
So our products are not expensive. Our green tea is $3.99. We have our turmeric tea, it's $4.25. These are products that actually will last you for a while. And there's a reason why we're actually fighting for the prices to remain the same. It's because our platform in itself has through the grace of God, we have many people who have healed from fibroids and from even issues like obesity and weight gain, because now they've discovered that it's more about what we eat and what we put on our plate and eating smart as opposed to eating a lot of food. Right. And so for that, you know, we've actually tried to establish that, and I can say I'm proud that we are achieving that. So more people have actually understood what it means to eat healthy. More people actually have our products as their household products, and they could consider them as their shopping every month.
I think you've sold this to me, so
thank you.
I might just be a
Most
customer.
Definitely, and you're welcome. And I know you love chia seeds and you love healthy living.
Yes.
You know, you're very much welcome, and to anyone else out there also.
So, and you mentioned a little bit about physical activity.
Yes.
Remember, we are living in times where the iPad kids.
Yeah.
So it's they'll grab a snack.
Yes.
And then they'll be scrolling. Then they'll grab a snack, then they'll be scrolling.
I know.
Or they'll be on the TV screens. Parents are even unable to watch news.
I know.
Because the kids are in control. So then, some parents have been blamed. You know, they have contributed to the obesity in a lot of children.
Yeah.
So parents and control,
yeah,
how can they gain that back?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I try and have a little bit of mercy for parents because I know it's not easy. Most of them are trying to cope with the times, you know, and so they are working really hard and spending majority of their time at work or running their businesses or trying to make ends meet. And because of that, you know, children actually have all this time unsupervised, and they are spending their time, you know, actually sitting before the screen. Right. But what you have to do as a parent is to actually start involving physical activity. We're not talking about, of course, not just fitness, even though there are many videos on YouTube that actually support and will be able to allow your child to train and work out. Other than that, add physical activity in their day. Allow your children to be able to have time to move their body and to play, because chances are even in school they don't have enough time to actually do that and move their body. Okay. So creating that type of environment, even if you have to be there and involve yourself, even if you have to supervise or have someone to supervise, also find out if there are activities that can be able to, like sport activities that your child can engage in. That means that when they engage in a sport activity like football or basketball or whatever, that means over the weekend, instead of you guys going to the mall and spending a lot of your money on food that's going to not be healthy for you, they'll probably be at a game and you'll be present at the game to watch them play. Right. And these types of activities are actually going to assist your child in, you know, obviously having a healthier body and having, you know, living a healthy life.
And would it be easier
if
the parents are fit as well?
Yes,
then when the child sees this, then they'll be
I know, you know why? Because children learn from example. So as a parent, also think about that. Think about the fact that your children are watching you and they're learning everything from you. So if you also have to be able to develop this type of characteristics, then understand that it's going to lead to your children being a lot healthier. I know just from us growing up, my mom was very big on her skincare. And because of that, I ended up taking care of my skin all the time because I would see her taking care of herself with natural products. My dad actually had a section at home where he had his weights, his dumbbells, everything, and he would train before he takes us to school. He would go swim, come back, actually lift some weights, and then take us to school. So I grew up actually seeing that, you know, even though I started like in my 20s, but I knew it was from somewhere.
This is how you were socialized.
Yes. So because of that, I grew up knowing that this is a healthy habit. Okay. And so these are habits that I'm never going to kick, because I saw them from two people that I actually, you know, adore and would like to emulate. And so as a parent, you actually need to do that. Set examples and try. And I know it's difficult because sometimes parents are trying to do everything at the same time, but prioritize, because when your children are not here today, or when your children are sick, you're the one who actually feels the pain the most. I know even when I was sick, that's what my mom would tell me all the time. I wish I could take that pain and carry it. And so you need to be the one to do it, because you know later on it will hurt you more if they're not okay.
Right. Yeah. And as we close, let's talk about the COVID-19.
Yes.
And how it just highlighted a lot of our weak areas as the world, as the Kenyan society, and a lot of health complications. Yeah. And most so even in children who got sick, who even lost a few children due to the COVID-19 pandemic, who had these underlying conditions. Kids with diabetes, kids with lifestyle diseases, and that is pretty alarming.
It's actually scary when you think of it, because during this time, when children were not actually going to school or leaving their houses, so to speak, this was actually a time for them to actually engage themselves in more activity. And I was thinking about it yesterday, like if this would have happened during my era, chances are we'll probably have even more time to play
the whole day.
Can you imagine? And that would be like the best feeling ever. But then it was the opposite, because, you know, children are actually sitting before the screen and, you know, holding the iPad kids, as you've called it. So it really did expose some of these particular issues in our society.
Right.
And we're still trying to, you know, deal with them. But I think the best thing that we're supposed to do as a society, how can we encourage children to actually live a healthy lifestyle, even if it's in your community, in your neighborhood? Don't just wait for the government. As neighbors, just come together and ask yourself, we have kids here, my kid, your kid, everybody else's. How can they be able to have a safe place so that they can play, a clean place? How can we be able to engage them in activities? So we also have a role to play, you know, as a society, so that we can support, you know, the health of children.
And I believe this is a conversation that I will have. Today we talked about children, but adults need it just as bad.
I know.
So we'll schedule a conversation.
Most definitely.
We will have this talk, and of course we'll also be welcoming feedback.
Yes.
And just even you can be able to send all your concerns to Fatma right here, and we'll be addressing them at a later date. But thank you so much, Fatma, for being part of the conversation. She is the founder of Wellness KE. And our conversation this morning, addressing childhood obesity. Let's keep the conversation going across our social media platforms. Let's Look Up TV on Twitter, Look Up TV on Facebook, and Look Up TV on our YouTube channel. I am Nancy Limer. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be handing over to Simba, and he'll be letting us know what's happening on the business front. Have a good morning.